If you wish to heal from any physical suffering or any emotional or mental suffering, there is one panacea, one solution that solves all difficulties, and that is to fly to God. If you have no belief in the term God, use the term mind nature. If you prefer Christ consciousness, it's just as good. If you prefer the Buddha mind, that works too. If you like the Tao, use that. It doesn't matter because you're flying to a realm beyond words. If you're still in the realm of words, you haven't flown. To fly is an acronym. It means that there are 3 attributes required. You must have faith, you must love, and you must yearn for God. Without the faith that there is someone to fly to, you won't take the risk of leaving the ground. If you don't have love for that Supreme Being, you'll remain too attached to those illusory others in the phenomenal plane. It must be such a love that it becomes your only love. And there is no conflicting loyalty between love for God and love for your body, your ego, the members of your bodily family, your bodily society or nation, anything to do with the physical plane. If the love is for that rather than for God, then you won't fly. You'll stay grounded. And thus vairagya, or dispassion, for all that appears as this dream plane, must be released so that you are free to fly. And it is on the wings of love and faith that one flies. But the power to move those wings comes from the yearning for God. Without the yearning, without the urgency, without the realization that it must happen now, without that yearning becoming so desperate that it takes all the space that had been occupied by your concern for your suffering, that yearning will release you into the Paramakasha, the supreme sky, of the mind of God and the heart of God. And your love will be met by the ultimate love that dissolves all suffering and dissolves all sense of separation from your source, and completes the quest that life had been. Completes it with a fullness of wisdom and light and power that had been sought but was unimaginable that it could be real. It is all that in all the degraded forms of culture are yearned for, but yearned for in comic book fashion, in the urge to become some superhero on the physical plane, or some larger-than-life figure with powers that pertain to the ego. But all of this is just a fallen form of the yearning for the Supreme Being and the realization that you have never been anything but that one. The power comes from the realization and the acceptance of non-duality. Because for so long as there is duality, that means there is otherness. And that means that your consciousness is split between self and not self. And it means that your power has been fragmented. And to whatever extent you believe in the illusion of duality, you are grounded by that other that will refuse to fly with you. You can use others to take test flights in the same way that we fly a kite, but somebody stays on the ground holding it, and the kite doesn't get very far. The people who use drugs and have other kinds of experiences to try to transcend the ego on a temporary basis are just flying their kites, and they're going to be yanked down again by the gravity of the world, or the kite ripped away into oblivion by psychosis. There's no way to get there except through faith, love, and yearning. Substances may help you to have faith in it. They may dislodge some of the ego defenses, but the ego itself, to be surrendered, can only be done through absolute faith, love, and yearning. You can try any other method, but eventually you'll come back to that one. There are no other shortcuts. There are no other ways to avoid facing the entire truth that will emerge in the unconscious as soon as those three attributes are activated. You will face all the resistance of the ego, all the monstrous force of the demon of fear, and every other possible obstacle will come into your mind. But if you have faith, you will conquer every doubt. If you have love, you will conquer every disposition toward anger, fear, or weakness. And if you have yearning, you will not wait. You will not put it off to the tomorrow that never comes. Only that will bring peace to the heart. Only that will bring acceptance of all that has ever happened to you or will happen. Only that will bring the wisdom and the understanding of why it had to happen and the perfection of all that is. Only that will allow you to let go. And to know that you have no responsibility to rescue anyone else. It is only by returning to God that you have any power to help anyone else at all. And when you are one with God, you realize that only God is of help to anyone. Your returning to God opens the path for others. It pops the quantum wave function. It creates a new quantum wave that disrupts the standing wave of Maya and opens the Shakti path for all of those who are asleep to be awakened. When enough beings have taken that path to fly to God, this world will be transformed. Because that flight unites the worlds so that this phenomenal plane of Maya or samsara indeed for one eternal moment becomes in union with nirvana. separation of God, world, and self are collapsed into a single unity again. And this is what enables the kingdom of heaven, or Satyuga, to manifest on this plane. It is only this union with God that can save the world, save your soul, and save all beings from suffering. This is the ancient path, the Bodhisattva path, the path that all the saints and sages through time immemorial have trod. But there have never been enough. The critical energy mass has never been achieved. It has to be done not by a single sage or founder of a religion like a Buddha or a Jesus or a Krishna. It has to be done by an entire community, by a Sangha that radiates as a superorganism. It cannot be done alone. It is God's will that it be done as a community to prove the reality of communion, to prove the truth of love and harmony on this plane, not only in the world of light, to bring the light here is the mission and the purpose of our lives. To heal the world's body, not just one's own. And because God enjoys tightrope walking, He has given this mission with a very short time frame in which it can be achieved, so that it is truly now or never, and everyone's soul is being weighed in the balance between choosing the path of light and truth and communion, or choosing the path of identification with the ego, with the body, with the demonic, with the rule of fear. And everyone's soul and destiny will be determined by that choice. That is the final judgment, and it is one's self-judgment, not that of God, that determines the outcome. And whatever happens is in the hands of God. It is a function of grace. But that grace is given when and only when the faith, the love, and the yearning have become absolute.